It's voluntary workout season, and we're going to look at the Cleveland Browns because they dropped a small clip on Jerry Jeudy. This is going to be our first look at him in a Browns uniform. No helmet, though, running an easy route. But we want to look at him. We want to talk some ball on Jerry Jeudy, the passing game of the Browns. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore and company, Amari Cooper, during minicamp and training camp when things start to fire up. But right now, we're getting voluntary workout clips, which is new here, which is something the NFL doesn't really show us, but they're showing us a little bit more each year behind the scenes, which is good. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're covering all these off-season clips from rookie camp, mini camp, training camp to these workouts, private workouts, individual workouts, whatever we find, we share. Click that button. Stop missing out on your players. Today, we're looking at Jerry Jeudy, and like I said, it's just one play. It's one clip. We're looping it. There's nothing to hide here. But we want to look at him. We want to see him in action. This is our first look at him in a Browns uniform. We got the number 3 on. And again, we're just jogging through it. Like I said, the thing about this, though, he's with the Browns. He's with his new team. Former first-round wide receiver. The thing about Jerry Jeudy is that he's a very nuanced route runner and creates separation off that. Very dependable as well. You got Elijah Moore who can work independently in the slot now, and you can move him around in the backfield if needed. They do use him in the backfield a lot. They ran a lot of packages in training camp because we covered him here. They want to focus with him being a slot / jigsaw piece in the offense so they don't have to move him on the outside. Last year, there was a lot of games where Elijah Moore was seeing a 20+% target share. Last year, too, David Njoku caught fire. He was starting to be productive, starting to see more targets. It would be interesting to see how the flow of targets gets distributed. Amari Cooper's not getting younger, but he's still going ham on the field. He's still a very good wide receiver, and he was a generational talent coming out of college. We just took it for granted because he went to the Raiders, and his career started off kind of slow, but he's always been a good wide receiver. Great route runner, great hands. Him and Jerry Jeudy together, I think that's a good tandem. And you got Elijah Moore in the slot. That's a good wide receiver depth chart. And you got Tillman there in the back of the depth chart there. And then you got Njoku there. That is a nasty depth chart. If Deshaun Watson can't hit with these wide receivers, especially if they're healthy, then there's no excuse. There's no more. There's no more. Jerry Jeudy on the back end here, I think functionality-wise, he'll be great for the Browns. I don't know for fantasy football. They got so many good options here, and it really depends on David Njoku, whether or not he is a big-time option for you in fantasy or usable or functional or whatever you want to call it. Because if David Njoku gets more targets, gets more opportunity, and builds off of what he did last year, and it may not be like top-tier tight end, but enough to be competitive with the top tight ends, then that's going to impact Elijah Moore. That's going to impact Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper. If he's healthy on the field, he's going to be getting his. And then the other 2 wide receivers are going to be getting scraps. And really, I think this team wants to pass the football. They want to throw it because they keep adding to the passing game. They got Deshaun Watson. They are not really going crazy trying to get running backs, even though Nick Chubb's had that nasty injury. They're really just trying to make it work there. But they will run the ball. They love running the ball, but I think they're going to start leaning more into the pass. They had those indicators last year with some of the moves they made. They keep adding wide receivers in the draft as well. They just keep doing it, but they keep doing it at a cheaper cost, especially now they got Jerry Jeudy. But every year, the last 3 years, they spend a mid-round pick on a wide receiver, and it's a wide receiver that falls to them at value because they have other positions of need, of course, which is a smart move because you can pick up very good wide receivers at different spots of the draft because the wide receiver spot is so plentiful of talent, and there is levels to this game when it comes to talent. But again, if you have an Amari Cooper, you picked up your Elijah Moore, and then you're just welding the back up of your depth chart there with good wide receivers that fall to you in the draft. That's good. They picked up Jamari Thrash, who's very electric off the release, very electric in space. You got David Bell there, who's been there for a while. You got Cedric Tillman, they got all this talent on the back end, so if something happens, you can plug one in and get you by. Like you're talking about talented wide receivers who a lot of teams would love to have on the back end of their depth chart. We're looking at Jerry Jeudy. His route running and separation created from breaking off the routes should help Deshaun Watson. And if Deshaun Watson doesn't fire, that's going to be really on him. But Jerry Jeudy is really going to help this team. For fantasy football, really depends on the volume and the flow of targets. Because if David Njoku starts firing more like he did in the back half of the season, you're going to spam him around the red zone. You're going to spam him a little bit more over the middle. And then Amari Cooper, it really depends on his health too. Because when he's healthy, he's firing, he commands the target share. But Jerry Jeudy is going to be the guy on the other side. And I look for Jerry Jeudy to push for a 20% target share as well. I look for him to be very volatile in fantasy. I look for him to have some value. But it really depends on your expectations. If you're expecting for a bunch of wide receiver 1 weeks, you may want to step back a little. But if you're expecting a guy that in plus matchups can get you by, especially if the target share is pushing 20%, then that's what you're looking at. A guy that's depth on your fantasy team or a guy that you're plugging in and out and playing the matchups with, that's what you're looking at with Jerry Jeudy, a cheap wide receiver there in fantasy, especially in Dynasty and Redraft. But your expectations should be tempered. They should be nothing like they were a couple years ago. But overall football for the Browns, because I'm going to have a lot of Browns coming here looking at this video, I think he's a great ad. You got him for a great price. For real football, tremendous get. And there's no excuses for Deshaun Watson here. There's none, because one thing he does is create separation. He's good after the catch. And you got Amari Cooper. We know how good he is. You got a good tight end. There's no excuses here. There's none unless everybody starts getting injured. But now we get to see what's going to happen. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.